Hello and welcome. This is Danny from Subject to Change, bringing you what will likely be the first of many book reviews I post. I had intended to do this long ago, but I've been unfortunately very busy lately. Today I'll be talking about Digital Fortress by Dan Brown. This was the third book of Dan Brown's that I've read, and I find his books to be a generally enjoyable read. If it was a concern to you before, don't worry, he leaves Jesus alone in this one. Instead, this book deals largely with the NSA and cryptography, and while much of the material is fairly technical in nature, Dan Brown does a good enough job in explaining the idea so that the average Joe can get the idea without dumbing it down so much and that it would be insulting to someone who understands how a computer works. Of course, as would be expected, Dan Brown keeps tension and suspense at high levels throughout the book, ending each chapter with a twist or cliffhanger that leaves you wanting to read the next chapter, and since each chapter is so short, it's easy to convince yourself to read the next chapter, and thus stay up all night telling yourself just one more chapter. If you haven't read many Dan Brown books before, your biggest complaint would likely be that the book is a bit on the fluff side. It isn't necessarily embarrassing to be seen reading like a romance novel or Harry Potter, but it won't make you feel like a genius either. All in all, if you're in the market for a pleasurable, light page turner, this is a good read. I do, however, have one larger complaint, but it contains some minor spoilers, so I'd like to give you the opportunity to go away if you're overly concerned about it. After having read a few Dan Brown books, they appear to get a little repetitive and formulaic. The guy who you thought was your ally always ends up turning on you, and the day is always saved by the plucky academic. Also, Dan Brown seems to like using assassins with some sort of deformity or handicap, which is kind of cool, I guess, but it makes me wonder if he has some sort of issue with the disabled. If you'd like to contact me or have a book to recommend, please mail me at frightenedmonkey.danny@gmail.com.